Hey guys, Julian here from Ripehouse. Thanks for clicking on this video. If you haven't already, we have a new podcast called the No BS Property Investing Podcast. Make sure you go check it out and give it a listen. Now back to the video. Next question from Jen. I'm looking for a property I convert from a 3 and 1 and 2. So what they're referring to there is 3 bedroom, maybe 1 or 2 bathrooms into a 4 and 2 for equity uplift. Is this easy to find? So thanks for flicking that question, Jen. And essentially what she's talking about here is we've got a property. It's a 3 bedroom, 1 or 2 bathroom property. We've maybe got a really large living area or 2 living areas, and we're wanting to convert that one into another bedroom and hopefully add value, because when they come back later on, they're going to value it as a 4 and 2 instead of what it was before. Now, I guess, is it easy to find? So there's a few things we want to just walk through there. There's the $1 million question really is, can we find these things? I'd say the thing we want to add on top of that is how long or how difficult is it to find these things? I would really like to reference it as finding a bit of a needle in a haystack. But if I was to walk you through the process of what we go through at Ripehouse, so as a general rule of thumb, we're looking at circa 250 suburbs across the entire country. There's a bit over 15,300 suburbs as a whole. So it's about 1.6% of suburbs. On a weekly basis, we're performing due diligence on somewhere between 4,500 to 6,000 properties per week. And of that number, we only end up with about 50 properties come through each week that pass our entire due diligence process and the data side of things as well. So we're down to 50 properties. Now, let's just say of those 50 properties, maybe it's a 1 in 1,000 of the properties, or 1 in every 10,000 of that 50 actually is eligible to be able to do that conversion that we were talking about before. And really what we're really talking about here, we're looking for a unicorn. We're trying to find something that is super unique and we can go out there and get it. But the reality is, if we workshop our way through those numbers, just to get to the point, each and every week, we're not going to find a property that actually meets that requirement. So that could be anywhere from stretches out from 6 to 12 weeks to then find that 3 or 4 bedroom conversion home. But then the reality is, the next step is we've got to make sure they actually stack up from, I guess, getting our offer accepted, right? Because we don't strike at 100% of our offers getting accepted. So it might be our average conversion is around about 1 in every 4 offers accepted. So if we've waited somewhere between 6 to 12 weeks, if we multiply that by the rule of 4 again, now we're up to somewhere between 24 to 48 weeks to secure that property. We could have left tens of thousands, potentially even hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. But then the final piece that we've got to add on to that is there's some other things that we've got to consider when we're going down this pathway. So do we actually have time to manage the project itself? Because it's not something that's just going to do it itself. What are the costs involved in terms of labor, material? What income are we giving up? Because also too, we are going to potentially put this property out of being rentable for several weeks. So we're going to lose that rental income. What is the actual return going to be? Is it going to improve our rent a lot? Is it actually going to really increase the value of our property? And this is probably where there's a little bit of a misconception in the market in terms of people chasing 3 to 4s, because yes, it may help you from a simple, or probably at this point it would need to be an in-house appraisal on a property. But the reality is that when you've got a property that's a 3 and 1 or a 3 and 2, and then you compare it to a 4 and 2s, in general, the real 4 and 2 is going to be on a larger land allotment, because that's how they're fitted on the block. It's potentially going to have a larger foot size in terms of, well, they're normally coming with 2 living rooms, or a really large living room, or a large living room plus an open plan living kitchen dining area as well. Whereas when we're doing these conversions, we're normally sacrificing something. So we're normally trying to squeeze something in, taking a living area away. So when we're doing actual comparisons, it might stack up from a lazy desktop valuation, because we've said we've now got a 4 and 2 and we're comparing it to other 4 and 2s. But when we actually go to sell the property at market, the market is going to go, well, hang on, this 4 and 2 isn't as equal as the 4 and 2 down the road. I'm not going to give you the same price because you're on a small land allotment and your house is smaller, right? So that's the reality. Now, it might help you with a quick equity release. It doesn't necessarily increase what the property is going to sell for all that dramatically. So that's something to keep in mind. But I think the big thing here that I'd like to drive home in terms of if you can find that property along the way, that's an added bonus. I think for most people, it's that opportunity cost of being out of the market. I'd like to see a lot of people buying within 3 months or less. That's a challenge within itself. If all of a sudden your buying process is now taking 12 plus months to do, I think you've left too much money behind if you're buying well in a rising market, just to be making this the be all and end all of your strategy. But appreciate you flicking that question through, Jen, and catch you guys on the next question as well.